Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Paola, and today I have yet another very special returning guest, Lilliam. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm good. I'm good.
I'm glad. I'm really good too, and I'm really glad that we are getting to do this again. Last time, if you don't know, we did an interview for Never Look Back, which is an Orpheus and Eurydice retelling, which you should definitely check out. Today, we are going to talk about We Light Up the Sky. So, Lilliam, reintroduce yourself and tell us a little bit about We Light Up the Sky.
So I write middle grade books and young adult books, and last year I had Never Looked Back, and my next book, which is right in back of me, We Light Up the Sky, comes out in on October 5th through Bloomsbury. We Light Up the Sky is a young adult book, and it is about an alien invasion that occurs in Los Angeles, and you have three brown kids, Luna, Pedro, and Rafa, who have to try to, have to save the world. Basically, have to try to figure out how to tell everyone that this is happening, because the alien that lands in Los Angeles ends up looking like Luna's cousin who passed away. So there's a lot of scary moments, a lot of action and cliffhangers and all that good stuff that you would expect from alien invasion kind of story.
Lilliam has the range, so definitely check out down below the link so that you can buy it and add it on Goodreads. So what inspired We Light Up the Sky?
So We Light Up the Sky and was inspired by the books that I grew up reading when I was really young. I read like Ray Bradbury's The Martian Chronicles, and I read all those, kind of alien invasion story like Contact and, Asimov and whoever, all those guys, right? So I read those when I was really young, and I was always imagined what that would look like if, that would happen. And I wanted to write my own version of what that looks like, because I don't know about you, but I grew tired of seeing these kind of movies, these first contact movies with only kind of like white people leading the charge, like Tom Cruise or Tom Cruise. Like it's usually just Tom Cruise. And so then it's just like him, like I'm gonna save the day, like War of the Worlds, all those kind of stories. And so I'm just like, I don't believe that's true. I believe brown and black people will be saving the day. So I wanted to write that young adult version of high school kids dealing with this, being the first one, and just how the city and our society, how they peg brown and black kids off, from off the bat, and how they wouldn't be believed, and how they would have to save themselves in a lot of ways. So that was what inspired me to write this story.
I like that. That's a very, very cool way to do a story. And I love that it's so different from anything else I've read from you. So I'm very interested.
Yeah, I like to write different things, or try to, change it up, because like most people, I get bored very easily. So I want to change it up when it comes to my writing.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot, actually, because again, people, Lilliam has the range, so check it out. So what was the world building process like?
I've written 3 young adult books, and so all of them have been set in New York, in the Bronx for the most part, which is where I grew up. And so We Light Up the Sky is my first young adult book that's not set in New York. And so my world building is that, I live in Los Angeles and I've lived here for 20 years, but I consider the Bronx my home, and, LA is my second home. And so I really kind of just wanted to write a story that was just located right outside my door. Because I feel like LA is a very fantastical city, because it's so based off of this kind of movie making world. So everything feels, this is just me, but everything feels very made up. It just feels kind of like slanted. The architect is futuristic and weird. And so I just felt like the city itself lends itself to this kind of like, obviously, first contact kind of story. And I also love that LA, I live right by Fairfax High School, which is where the story is mostly set for the most part. And so I see these kids, I see them every morning. And so I've lived here long enough to just I think, be able to capture not a segment, but just be able to capture that world, if a little bit. I hope I did justice to it, but it was kind of fun to write about the city that is my second home.
Interesting. I like that. I like that we get a change of not just genre, but also setting. What were some of the like challenges that you faced?
I guess the challenge really was rewriting this story during the pandemic. So I had written maybe a draft or two earlier, before pandemic, obviously, and I was talking to people like, "Oh, I'm thinking about writing this story. What do you think?" And getting all excited about it. And then I had to spend the pandemic, these past 2 years, just rewriting it and working it with my editors, and so it really kind of seeped into the type of writing I did, I think, which felt a little bit, maybe a little bit darker, maybe a lot about grief, because if you read the story, it is, Luna is grieving her cousin who passed away, and it's been 2 years since her cousin passed away, and so there's this expiration date that everyone assumes that she would get over it, that she should just have moved on, and I believe we have not had a chance to grieve this moment. Like, the pandemic is still happening and we're not grieving, and no one's talking about that, right? Like, we talk about numbers and statistics, and all these big numbers are like, you can't even grasp the amount. But I just feel like everyone in my circle and in my family has lost someone, and so I just felt like it was like a little bit of that kind of like, what does it mean to grieve, and being scared and the unknown. So that's really what I felt was the challenge, was writing and not falling into dark despair. I guess it's a challenge. The challenge was not to fall into despair.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, relatable content, because it's very, very daunting. And you see it every day in writers everywhere, not just in books. People talking about how they want to leave the pandemic out of their stories because it's just too much right now.
Yeah, like I mean, I definitely did not think that we would still be in this situation. When I was writing it, obviously, a future world where the pandemic happened,
Mm.
and but I didn't know that we would still be in this in this situation. Yeah, it's a little tricky, but I knew I needed to mark it. Like, I felt like I
Yeah.
needed to make a mark of that it did happen, that I can't
Mhm.
pretend that it didn't happen.
Yeah. I love that. I feel like that's very, you always lean into very like scary, harsh subjects, and it's very cathartic to read. And I imagine it's also very cathartic to write.
Yeah, I do. And I don't go in writing those stories. I usually just, it just happens it happens that way, but I do. Whatever I'm struggling with, I guess, is what I'm trying to write through in these stories. And so this story really is about grief, and then it's also about not knowing what the future holds.
I like that. I like that. So what are three words that you would use to describe your main characters, each of your main characters?
Okay, so I mean, I'll start with Pedro. Pedro is loud, fashionable, oh, and vulnerable. Okay, Luna is Cancer. That's her sign. Yeah, Cancer for us. Okay, so she's Cancer. She's a little naive and strong. And then Rafa is quiet, protector, and I don't, he surprises, like he I don't even, like, he surprises me. Like, I was surprised by him. So he's quiet, but he comes out of left field and be like, "Oh, okay." So
I
I guess
love that. And I love that Luna is a Cancer. Yay. Yay for Cancers. Cancers.
yay for
Representation
Cancer.
matters.
Exactly.
Uh, so if you attended Fairfax High School, whose crowd would you be part of? Pedro's, Luna's, or Rafa's?
Oh man, that's a hard question. I want to be part of Pedro's, because I know it'll be always entertaining and good and just real. So I would say I would want to hang out with Pedro. Also, he just has the best clothing sense. So I would be like, oh, I love that. So I want to be close to that.
I love that. I love that. So this next section is a rapid fire section. Are you a plotter or a pantser?
I am a combination of both. So I do an outline and then I ignore the outline.
Paperback or hardback?
Oh, I love hardback
Mm.
because it looks official to me.
A book you want everyone to read?
Oh, I have it here. I think everyone should read Margarita Engel's Your Heart, My Sky, because Margarita is a legend and she always writes beautifully, beautiful words. And this is in verse and the cover is just stunning. So I think everyone should read that.
Should books be judged by their covers?
I'm going to say no, but I've also been very, very blessed with beautiful, beautiful covers. So if you see my covers, I mean, I would pick them up just because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All your covers are great. My personal favorite is Margot Sanchez one. Oh, I love that cover so much. The lettering,
it's such a sweet one.
the colors. I love it.
Me too.
And lastly, what's your purpose in life?
My purpose in life. That's a hard question. My purpose in life is just to I don't know, to be kind to the people I love. It's just, I guess that's my focus, is to just be kind or try to be kind.
I love that. So we reached the end of the interview. Are there any upcoming projects that we should be excited about? Any things that you want to shout out?
Well, I mean, just We Light Up the Sky comes out October 5th, as you know, and I also have Unearthed. Here it is. Unearthed is Jessica Cruz story. It's a DC Comics graphic novel that comes out in September 15th. And so those two books are my two books that are coming out, and you should pick them up. They're very different, but very cool.
Oh, I'm so excited about We Light Up the Sky. You always write such amazing stories. And don't forget to also check out Unearthed. I will also leave a link in the description below. And thank you, Lilliam, so much for
Thank you so much, Paola. It's always a pleasure to come and speak to you.
Thank you. It's also a pleasure to talk with you. And I love what you're doing with your Latinx characters and just in general. You're such a superstar. You're like a Latinx queen of literature. I love it. So thank you so much once again. Thank you everyone else for watching. Don't forget to check the description below for links on how to support Lilliam and to buy Unearthed and We Light Up the Sky. So yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.